Yeah, it's worth a shot because you may end up with something better to. Oh, also, you're being recorded. I have to tell you that.
It is now telling me.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
actually, I can't record it. Well, I think only one person can. My option to do so disappeared.
Oh, weird. Maybe it records it into both. Depending on how legal stuff works, that might be required.
That sounds legal.
Yeah. Um, Also, I have these delicious Dracula.
That's great. I have these delicious Takis.
Mm-hmm.
Takis and red wine, generally a good combination for me.
So we both have the loudest possible snacks.
Yep. Mhm.
All right, so I'm not entirely sure about a lot of like formatting and stuff like that because I feel like I always have ideas, but those ideas don't go well with other people most of the time. Um, the last couple podcasts that I ended up doing were, I thought, pretty good, but then people got tired of them fairly quickly. So I think if we're going to try to do it in earnest, we probably need to. If we're going to do it in earnest, sorry, I'm getting messages. I had this all turned off until a few minutes ago, but I went in and adjusted it so I can get the call audio as well as have the stuff plugged in.
Oh, okay.
Um, anyway, I think that we probably need to start like a habit of emailing ideas, most likely,
Mhm.
um, so that we can actually decide on like how we want to have stuff set up and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. So what was like kind of the format of your previous podcast?
So the first one, uh, Cat Chat, a podcast where we chat about cats. Uh,
That's good.
that one was a little too up in the air. um, it ended up being like one like 90-minute podcast. Everybody I know who was at my place that day did a story about their cat, and then it kind of just tapered off from there. But it was fun. And then the it never really got a name because all the editing slowed down and then nothing ever came out. Uh,
Yeah.
but the second one was um, going to be either the trash cast or something of that nature, and that was going to just be about garbage that we thought was interesting, but was not really stuff that people liked, at least in like a general sense.
I like that. Um, hmm, I could get on board with both of those. Hey, Evan, can you turn that down a little bit? Thank you.
Or up, either way.
Turn it up, please. Oh. Well, I don't really have any ideas. I have like topics of things to talk about, but I don't
Yeah.
have any like overarching themes or ideas. I think pretty much everything I have to talk about could be under the umbrella of trash. So,
Well, and uh, I do still like the idea, and I'll check it again because I haven't checked it in a little while. But the the name that I had floated before that I had been checking to make sure other podcasts didn't exist. I think it was the Faithless Cast,
mhm.
uh, something along those lines. I have it written down, but um, I think that could still work for being able to tell religious stories, which also being non-religious and growing up with religious people is a great way to get people interested in coming on to talk about it.
Yeah.
But then we can trap them and get them to talk about like gas station food. So it kind of works both ways.
I like that idea quite a lot because I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that experience anyway.
Yeah.
So
We got like 3 or 4 people on the last podcast we were recording just on the premise of we're going to pull things out of a trash can to talk about, which I feel like we can still bring back. It never came out, so.
yeah, I like that.
um, and yeah, I feel like the topics are easiest to just um, figure out maybe like 2 to 4 days ahead of time. Uh, I did try doing some like more like week-long research topics in the last one, and that was really fun. But those were definitely the topics that were fun for me first, and the other people second. Um, but I also don't mind. I don't mind being like driving host. I'm usually better with keeping some level of pace than being like personality lead. So if you have stories you want to tell about stuff, I'm totally fine with pushing those stories as opposed to just talking about my dumb shit. But both can
Okay.
happen, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be really interesting because I've never done anything like this,
Uh-huh.
and oh, it's just hard to conceive of the idea that things that I talk about are gonna be interesting to anyone. So, oh,
I think the best practice is just trying to figure out ways that you would talk to somebody that you don't know very well in order to keep them engaged, because the
mm,
stuff you tell them isn't that important. It's just like the level of comfort you have with what you're talking about.
right.
Because you could probably talk about some dumb League of Legends shit, and somebody would love it, and
uh,
somebody else would hate it, so that would work.
that's fine. That's a good spot to be in.
Hmm. Um, and a lot of topics that we're both going to know some things about are good. Um, but having some topics that, like in the last one, my one friend revealed that she spent a lot of her childhood making uh, um, like half Namekian Dragon Ball Z uh, fan fiction of her and Piccolo.
Hmm.
So, like those kinds of things can be good because I didn't know any of that shit, but it worked really well at the moment.
That that is very good. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily need to be quite so titillating, but it could be something that's just surprising.
Okay. I could probably work with that.
Um, I've done enough dumb stuff to have some of those stories for peppered around too. Um, Also, depending on how this month goes, I'll have a lot more of those. Uh, there's a lot of art things happening in October this year, and some of them are giant costume parties, like I was talking about.
Yes, that sounds excellent.
Yeah, I was looking at the list of people who are supposed to be there, and most of them are like complete weirdo nerds that like I see going alone to other things. So I think they're going to try to cram a bunch of those people in one room, which is probably why
Perfect.
I got invited also. uh, I think it's going to be a disaster, but curious about it.
It sounds like a disaster worth going to, though,
Yeah.
for sure. Wait, do you have a costume?
Uh, that is starting about 2 days ago, my main project for 2 weeks or something.
Oh, nice.
Um, I have uh, I have a show I'm submitting to that is supposed to be going up next month in like a weird pop-up that's going into the lobby of the uh, opera house.
Oh.
So that should be weird. But
Hmm.
I mean, I'll take it if I can get in there.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Uh, is that really high quality wine?
Uh, I would not be able to tell you if it was. Um, it's from Walgreens. It was $8.99, and it's called Apothic. It is a red blend, and the cork is black because it's like gothic wine.
I have had that. Uh, I think I had it at a trashy wedding, actually.
Well, I could see this. I
Yeah.
could very well see this at a trashy wedding. I think it's fine. Most wines are fine.
If I remember, it was a little bit like sweeter and thicker feeling than some wines.
Yeah, yeah, I do like it. It is kind of like it feels a little bit heavier, um, and it's pretty smooth. So,
Uh, Nick, with his Game of Thrones parties he was having, uh, which I took as a 90-ish minute chunk of time where I could just hang out in my room and do something else.
hmm.
Uh, on the finale, they had this wine,
Oh my.
uh, which I did try a tiny bit of, and it was not good. And then this Chardonnay bottle became a definitely not cleaned prop in our kitchen forever. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's a
It,
good thing to hold on to forever.
yeah, it technically still has a little bit of wine in the bottom. Also, I think his sister said, "Keep that. I'm gonna want that," and then that was on the day of the finale. So it's worked out so far.
Oh my God. Where does one even acquire a Game of Thrones themed wine?
I have no idea. So to be fair, there's a lot of things in this room now that I'm looking around that I have no idea how we ended up with them. You have this drag queen game though. It's apparently very bad.
It looks good. It looks interesting.
It's like apples to apples, but you have power levels. uh, the drag party from uh, a couple months ago, everybody got kind of drunk and then played that, and
Mm.
it was already a bad game. But then trying to get drunk people to play it, it was a worse game.
I don't
Um,
know why. I would think that would make it much, much better.
you would think that. My current plan is to stop this recording at 20 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and then I think I will have at least a chunk that's big enough to look at the editing of and make sure that if we did try to edit this and everything, it wasn't a complete disaster.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Uh,
Also, I'm all in favor of sacrificing quality of editing for like actually doing it and putting it out because that's been a big hurdle in a lot of projects for me. It's just like trying to make it good
yeah,
and then
definitely.
it just never happens.
Uh,
So,
I'm a big fan of scheduling. Uh, all of the projects that I have been a part of or led, if it wasn't scheduled, it wouldn't have happened.
mm,
Um, the coloring book thing, having that set up so that the 15th of every month was a due date for everything, assuming that everybody would actually be a day or two late, so that like Alicia and my internal due date for producing it was the 20th.
that's a
Worked.
great idea.
It worked really well, but I couldn't tell anybody. Uh, or I did tell somebody, and they just kind of like got later and later until they weren't in the books anymore.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. So, do you want to set like a day set aside a day a week for recording, and then maybe another day to be communicating about ideas for that week.
That's probably a good, ambitious start. Um, yeah, I think we'll have to decide on what those days are going to be. Uh, this month is a tough month to figure out, but I'm going to guess most of the time. Eh, trying to think about when they play baseball here because I can hear it from here.
Mm, I
Um,
can't hear anything of that.
oh no,
Makes
not
any
tonight.
difference?
When they
Oh,
play Little League, people get fucking nuts, and you can hear it from the field in my room.
oh.
But I think baseball should be done soon. I hope. I don't know.
I would think so. It seems like it's getting too cold to hold balls and throw them and
That's
scream for your children.
none of that sounds good.
No.
The I'm guessing. Let's see. My schedule's also weird. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday probably aren't good days.
Okay.
Um, Monday is probably a good day for like uh, talking about stuff as opposed to recording,
Mm-hmm.
because usually on Monday I'm a sack of shit to a certain degree. So I could see that being a bad day to uh, be optimal for things.
Yeah.
Um, but Thursday and most Saturdays are probably pretty good. The only problem is Thursday and Saturday are days that shows happen. So I think we might have the best luck having like a uh, Saturday plan, but like a Sunday early-ish contingency kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if we have weekends that don't work as well, we can kind of shift time a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. I'm really, really flexible. Like, doesn't it, as long as I'm like planning for it, it doesn't matter to me whenever. It's fine.
Okay. Also, tell me what difference this makes in sound quality on your end. Um, what does this sound like?
Um, Now I can't tell if I'm imagining it or not. It's not like go back before.
Okay, it is back like it was.
Okay.
Can you tell any difference?
This seems a little bit quieter to me.
Okay, that's probably what I want.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure on this. Most of the adjustments are just so it stays level, not so it's super
Mm.
different. Also, this light blinking at me every second sucks.
I I don't see. Is it on the other side of the? Oh yeah, that's pretty awful. uh, how does this mic sound? Because I did the test call and I thought it sounded pretty bad. I don't
Uh,
think it sounds great.
it has a little bit of the Call of Duty mount or mic effect.
That
Um,
makes sense.
yeah, it's not bad. I've actually heard a fair amount of podcasts that use that quality of mic and then eventually get a better mic when they
Okay.
like make money, but it's not like an uncommon sound for people to hear. I definitely listen to at least one podcast that's just a bunch of dudes sitting around a room, and I think Tacoma, uh, and I think they're all wearing those, and they're just
That's
sitting
excellent.
like far apart.
Okay, I don't feel as bad. I'll just start out with this and then. if necessary, I can figure something else out.
Yeah, I think as long as we're not getting bad sync or something where like our voices aren't lining up, which is a problem with mostly the other option, I hope, then we should be okay. Uh, I've heard that doing separate tracks and then combining them, if you're on a computer that has like slightly better anything or slightly worse anything, it can actually slightly adjust the bit rate even if you didn't set it that way. It just like records at a different quality, and some audio at a different quality will edit together to be slightly faster than other audio, so they can so that can actually limit how long certain podcasts are, depending on how long it takes for the audio to fall out of sync, which sounds like a fucking nightmare.
That is stupid.
Yeah. So I would rather the quality was a little bit worse than
Me
have to deal with
too.
that.
That sounds so stupid.
Yeah, and I didn't go to school for any of this, so I'm not interested in it.
Nope. I'm not interested in making it good at all.
Also, just as a topic of current trash that is happening, um, do you remember Morgan? It's like Morgan and Jason are the sort of shorter, kind of jovial couple that would show up to things occasionally.
Yes.
Okay,
If you
so
if you keep describing them, I'll probably remember who they
so Morgan is currently texting from Tybee Island in Georgia, where she is at a essentially a pirate festival, so like a Renaissance fair, but for pirates. So that's something that I
That's
now
excellent. I'm really jealous of that, actually. Is she in Georgia because of that?
To my knowledge, that is why she is in Georgia.
That sounds like as good as reason as any to be in Georgia. I am actually just interested.
There you go.
That's very good.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised at the fact that Georgia has islands, but I guess that's not super surprising.
I mean, a lot of places have islands. What the fuck? Um, just got this picture of a petting zoo. Jesus Christ. Here's some pirates at a petting zoo.
Oh, that's a good combination of things.
If it weren't a picture of somebody else, I would suggest this for the image for our podcast.
I really like that. I would be completely on board. We could just Photoshop out the face.
Just Photoshop both of our faces onto it.
Wait, who gets to be the goat? Is my question.
I want to be on the side of the goat, and then you can be on the large man.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Also, I finally replaced my phone cover that's been falling apart since probably before you met me.
Yeah, what does it look like? Oh,
it's Guy Fieri and a fidget spinner.
That's really good. I really like that.
I think I painted that like 4 years ago, maybe. When fidget spinners were cool.
Yeah, when that was happening. Wow, I had completely forgotten about the existence of those up until this exact moment.
Well,
so thank you for that.
I worked in a toy store when Silly Bands were on their way out, so.
Oh my god, I forgot about Silly Bands too!
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
You learn a lot of things working in a toy store, and none of them are that interesting, except how expensive tiny figurines of woodland creatures in aprons are.
Is this a particular toy?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find you like a I don't if they still exist, I can find an ad for them or something. They're
Is it
very bad.
Littlest Pet Shop?
I
I don't think
don't
the aprons were a thing.
look up uh high quality um animal
Uh,
family for kids.
I'm actually terrified to type those keywords into Google, but
Oh, why? Just try and experiment out. High quality animal family for kids.
all right, here we go. Here we go. Animal family for kids. No. Um, I'm not even sure what this is. These are just animal figurines mostly,
Oh, okay. Let me.
and this is happening as well.
Whoa! Is that off-brand Animal Crossing?
Um, nope, it's something called Animal's Finger Family.
Oh God. Now type animal fingers family into Google.
Wait,
Oh. Ugh.
it's on somebody's finger. Look at this
Uh,
cow. Is that a cow or a donkey?
I think
Uh,
it has to be a donkey. No cow would wear that hat.
um, I don't understand the concept of these because they're not even real. Like, it's not a real toy. Someone just decided to animate animals on people's fingers
Wait, what?
and thought that was good. It's not even a real toy. It's just this. It's just
Well,
that. But it's okay.
oh, wait. That was it. Okay, it's called Calico Critters.
Calico critters. Not familiar with those.
Yeah. Um, you should look it up just to see the prices of the things that are on offer.
Are they actually for kids or is it like a collector's sort of thing?
They're
Or-
actually for kids. They're like made out of that weird, slightly fuzzy material that's like infant safe.
Gotcha.
Oh shit, there's some good off brands too. Whoa. No, don't visit that website.
I'm clicking to buy it. Oh my god, two of them are $25.
Yeah.
And they're just bunnies, like getting married, I
Uh-huh.
think.
Um,
Alright.
Now, if you had a choice between buying those and buying these,
My
which
god.
would you pick?
Those, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Despite the fact that those eyes make me afraid for my life a little bit.
Man, that's oh, look at the book they're reading. It also has those. Oh.
I like the idea of reading a book that you are in, and it's a book of your family, and that's not
Uh
strange.
that that sounds like something that some artists that I've known would definitely do to their kids.
Oh, look, it's a book that I made, then you're in it.
I'm gonna read you a bedtime story about you. What's better for escapism than also being in your own stories?
Also, is this not like the exact plot line of the Babadook? Like, isn't that what that is? It's
Pretty
been a while
much.
since I've seen
Uh, there's definitely an element of this story has become real.
it.
Hmm. Say something for 30 seconds so this gets to 30 minutes.
Well, this is me talking for 30 seconds. It sure is. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to buy these calico critters. I think it's important that somebody for Christmas gets a pair of these.
I
I won't
think
say
that
hooch.
I want calico critters that are 4 G's altogether.
4 Gs.
Okay, I am stopping the recording